everyone, I'm Wunmi Bello. Welcome to the Wunmi Bello Show. Every episode, I'll be bringing you unfiltered stories from old and new friends who've given me access into their most vulnerable and life-changing moments. Each conversation will take you on a therapeutic journey with laughter and refreshing relatability. On today's episode, I'm speaking with the super talented British Ghanaian record producer, musician, and radio presenter, Juls. We break down the realities of what taking the leap of faith actually looks like, his love for music, working with underground artists, and so much more. So, I always kind of like to start off my conversations with people kind of explaining or expressing to them my first encounter with them, whether it's, their arts or, anything that they've done or they do. And with you, I remember, I don't know if you know about Viva Hall Party, like back in the day, like everybody would go to Viva Hall Party. And that was the first time I'd heard, it was Skin Tight that I heard, and I was like, what is this song and why does it sound like this? Because it really felt like it was like Afrobeats, but like infused with like UK culture in terms of music. And it was just weird. And I think I got home that evening after that party and I really wanted to dive into like that sound and figure out like who's the producer. And obviously that's when I found out that it was you and it was your work. So it always made me wonder, was that like an intentional sound that you guys produced?
I think it happened by accident.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was trying, but I know it was a thing where I definitely wanted to blend some African elements and some dancehall type of vibes to it, because I'm a big reggae dancehall fan anyway. But at the same time, I don't know, I just wanted to be a bit more different. It was weird. I remember the day I made the beat. I remember the day that everything happened. It's 2014. I just finished watching a football game.
Was the Arsenal playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I literally just got behind the computer and I just started messing around with some drums and some chords or whatever. And then this, beat just came up. I was like, actually, there could be a little bit of a vibe here. So that's kind of like how literally everything happened.
But prior to creating a song like Skin Tight or producing a beat like that, were all your sounds sounding quite similar to that?
Nah, not at all. What a lot of people actually don't know is that, I used to be like a hip hop producer. Like a lot of my beats were like boom bap, hardcore, like hip hop type of beats. Because hip hop is my first love anyway. So that's kind of like I was doing. Kanye West is the reason why I actually started making beats. And I was just trying to emulate a lot of the stuff that he had done previously. Soul samples, chopping them up, and then just making it my own. And then I started sampling like Afro beats, like High Life and like records from Nigeria, Ghana, all of that, just to give it like my own flavor, like still make it sound very African, that type of thing.
Was that important for you?
Yeah.
To always add that African element to music?
There's a guy called Panji Anoff.
Yeah.
Kind of like, somebody who told me that when you're making music, you always need to remember that it's good to have like some sort of identity.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so people
I think
can
that's
kind of
important in all aspects when it comes to creativity.
Yeah, literally just, if somebody picks up anything that you've created, they can definitely hear the influences and kind of like tell where you're from without even asking questions. It's always good to have an identity. If you do everything that everybody else is doing, you're not really doing anything different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was watching, it was an interview or some sort of conversation that you were having with someone, and you mentioned that your mum, at the the early stages of your career, was one of the first person who said to you that you can really do this music thing full time. And it had me thinking, being someone who grew up in such an African household in the same way that you did too, you're Ghanaian. It's just such a different conversation, because for me it's like, if you live in an African household, the conversation of like embracing your creativity and like following your passion in that sense, it's not happening. Are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be a lawyer? That's the vibe. So it makes me really interested to kind of go into your childhood a little bit. Walk me through that. What was your family dynamic like?
Well, my mom, I think the creative side of us, when I say us, it's me, and my brother and my sister. The creative side really comes from my mum.
Okay.
Because my mum paints as well, and she loves music. She loves to dance. So the creative side really came from her, and she always used to encourage us to like, you know, explore with our talents. She always used to say, read, you know, books, this, and that. Even to this day, at my big age, she still says stuff like that. Read a book.
Yeah.
My dad was kind of like the traditional white collar type of person.
Yeah.
You know, study this, that, and the third. He's a maths guy as well, like me, so I guess I picked that up from him as well. In terms of our upbringing, I think in the early years, maybe between like when I was born to like 9, 10, you know, they never really showed any glimpses of us suffering as a family. I think we were blessed to have parents who were able to do the most for us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We lived in a very small place in Clapton. And then my dad moved us to the north part, like Hertfordshire sides, because at the time, like Clapton was a very, very rough, you know, neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you weren't really fully exposed to all the roughness.
No, but we could have, because, you know, they both had crazy busy schedules. We
Yeah.
had a nanny, all of these things.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, even that is a blessing. I did not have any.
Yeah, no, we needed to have one, and she literally stayed, you know, maybe 2 floors up.
Yeah.
Jamaican lady. She was the one who was taking care of us when my parents, you know, had to go to work. And yeah, man, we moved to Stevenage, predominantly white neighborhood. You know, there weren't really that many black families. If I recall, there were probably about 3 families that were black.
Yeah.
It was, you know, us, the Ghanaians, there's a family from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
And there's a Nigerian family, because Nigerians, you guys are everywhere, right? No shit.
Do you know what's funny? I've heard you say that. I swear, I've heard you say that 3 times.
Yeah.
Like Nigerian. What's your problem with us?
Yeah, no, there's no problem. Love. My godfather's Nigerian, so.
Oh, I love.
But yeah, very, you know, my parents did everything for us. Do you know what I'm saying? Anything that we needed or we wanted, you know, they tried their best to their ability to do it.
So you had quite a solid upbringing in that sense.
100%.
You moved to Ghana at a point.
Yeah.
How was that? And I think that was like around the age of 13, you said, right?
Right.
How was, you know, I think 13 is an age where you're very aware of what's going on in the world. You might not be able to, you know, speak about it, but you're very aware. And I guess you were raised here. So moving to Ghana, how was that experience for you? Like making that transition?
It was obviously the first time that we had traveled outside ever.
Yeah.
It didn't take too long to adjust. It was just, I think it was a good feeling to be surrounded by just a lot of black people that were Ghanaians just like us. Obviously the language, you know, we had to pick that up, and you know, my parents never really taught us the language, so I had to pick that up in school getting older, or when I was getting to uni and stuff. But that's kind of like where I discovered my love for music, because I fell in love with high life. Literally, like the day we landed, I was introduced to an artist called Kojo Entry.
Yeah.
And then there was Daddy Lumba, and then, you know, just a whole lot of big high life artists that resonated with me in terms of the, you know, the sound and whatever. So high life was kind of like, you know, kind of like where I took music a bit more seriously in terms of listening to it before like all the hip hops and the R&Bs and all of that stuff came out.
So before diving into the music industry completely, you were originally someone who was like heavily in the finance industry, right? How was, I know that when Skin Tight, I know a lot of facts by the way. So when when Skin Tight came about, and you know some of your other work at that during that period in time, you were still working your 9-to-5 job. I think were you an accountant at that time?
So I was an investment banker. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you were doing your 9 to 5 investment banking, and then you were also creating music.
Yeah.
What was it like trying to balance the two worlds? Because they
Wow.
are
Yeah, it was hell.
two different worlds.
It was hell. From 2014,
Yeah,
15, that's kind of like when things started
picking up.
And I think by 2016, my name was ringing bells. Excuse me. People like Burna Boy was reaching out, and then I was meeting all sorts of people one day. Cole, and then, you know, being introduced to Malik, and then meeting Wizkid and Davido, and then it even expanded a bit more on an international level, where people like Rita Ora, Drake, Chris Brown, and all the likes are giving us cosigns. So, whilst all of these things are happening, I'm still doing my 9 to 5, and it's just killing me because I'm obviously so passionate about this music thing, but these times I still need to be going to work. And then I started getting bookings to DJ in the States, and I wasn't trying to turn those opportunities down. So what I used to do is either I would take a day off or I would be sick. So Thursday, I take a day off on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday I take a day off. I'll fly out on the Friday. The gig will probably be Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll literally fly back on the Sunday, get to London on a Monday, and I'll go straight to work from when I landed.
So it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. A lot of jet lag. But I was determined. I was very determined to, you know, make it happen, because that was the only way.
Interesting you say determined, because when I imagine someone who's trying to balance a 9 to 5 with, you know, doing music, especially with a level of passion that I feel like you have and had for it at that time, how do you feel like you working in the 9 to 5 made you even more hungry for the music industry, because you knew that you had to leave so you can pursue it full time?
The 9 to 5 was a bit frustrating because I was at a place where I didn't see the progress as a job. Like there were no more levels that I could reach unless I was going to leave.
No.
And I remember there was a time that I was really trying to work deep
in the 9 to 5.
Like I was trying to like go to like the higher levels, like Canary Wharf, and work some crazy hours, get some crazy salary, and just, you know, live a good life.
Were you happy in those?
It's crazy, right? When it started, it was all good, but then when my passion started to grow, you know, I think there was just one moment where I was like, nah, man, I can't really do this anymore. So I started working towards putting money away to save, so that when I finally decide to walk away, I have something to lean on whilst I start to kind of like fix things. So that's literally what happened. I kept on saying I need to quit, and I finally did 2017, 18. I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But
was that scary?
I don't know if it was scary. I think it was just more of wondering. I remember telling my parents, and then, you know, calling them up, and I just remember there was so much silence on the phone, because they were like, oh wow, he's actually, you know, doing it.
Is that, do you know what, sorry to cut you off, but I was like just processing some of your work earlier, and one of your tapes is called Leap of Faith, right? The one in 2017. So was that the point where you oh my gosh, I love that.
So I literally was putting myself in a position where I'm like, all right, bro, you've put a tape called Leap of Faith out. You need to actually
take the leap of, so you hadn't even taken the leap of faith at the time that...
No, I literally was in that planning process of like, all right, boom,
we're gonna do this.
So 2017 was the year. And one day, I think what really sparked it was one day I went to work, and then some dickhead, he just did something at work, and I was like, nah, I can't work
What did he do?
anymore. Man, it's long. But basically, it was a disrespect. You know, this whole race,
Oh, okay.
BS, whatever.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna take it. If I was to take it up to another level, it would have been the whole. So,
Situation.
I just went home, and luckily it happened on a Friday, so I had time to literally process the whole situation. I was like, you know, I'm gonna quit. Sunday, called my parents, told them this is what I'm about to do. Monday,
What was their reaction to?
silence. My mum, my dad. My dad was like, alright, this is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. And then my mum called probably a few hours later. Are you sure you want to? Da, da, da. You know mums, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, man, I'm sure. And I was like, don't worry, if I fail, I'll come and stay with you guys. But, you know, it's worked so far, I guess. From 2018 to now. Leap of Faith and the other projects that I've put out are the ones that have kind of like held me down.
Yeah,
Just-
Leap of Faith was
Yeah.
a whole vibe.
Yeah. It's literally was kind of like been the building foundation
Yeah.
of literally my whole career as
Yeah.
a DJ artist / producer, and then just creating more opportunities. Do you know what I'm saying? So
You
Yeah,
mentioned earlier, not to go too far back, but you said that there was a point after, you know, that your work started getting recognition from various artists,
Yeah.
you know, like Burna Boy, Malik Berry, etc. What was the one phone call that you got from an artist that had you like starstruck?
oh, phone call,
Or maybe DM, whatever it was.
starstruck. You know what? Maybe Nas.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
damn. What did he say?
it's the typical. I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I'm saying? But that's Nas. That's one of my favorite rappers
Oh my gosh,
of
that
all
must have been
time.
such a moment.
Working with Wizkid has always, you know, been a blessing. I mean,
Yeah.
we met several times when I was on the rise. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, they gave me the opportunity to DJ at his shows
Yeah.
twice at the O2. And we always knew that we would be able to make a record together, but it was just about timing. And so now that's finally happened, and it seems to be everybody's, you know, favorite
True
as
love.
well.
Yeah, that song's
I
banging.
feel like, you know, that's also a blessing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do those moments when you work with artists that, you know, you've loved for a long time feel like a pinch me moment for you?
I don't know about pinch me. You know why? It's not really a pinch me moment. It's because it's not that I expect it. I guess maybe it's just my nature.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know that I have the ability to, you know, probably create or bring something different to the table that everybody else, you know, does. I don't really anticipate what the song will do at that moment.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it always turns into something big. I mean, with Burna Boy producing Rock Your Body, you know, what that record did alone was kind of like a resurgence to seeing who this new Burna Boy that, do you know what I'm saying? Some is so with one they call, you know, I've got so much love for that record even to this day.
Yeah.
You know, same with Wiz, and then other records that I've put out as well. So I don't think it's a pinch me moment. It's kind of like a surreal moment, that type of thing.
Okay,
It's
I think
kind of
that's a good
like,
way of explaining it.
I think like, yeah, I'm like, wow. And then you listen to the music as well. It's kind of like, oh wow, I did that. You know, that type of thing. So yeah, man.
I listen to songs like Give You Love and Guan and, you know, Blessed, and it always for me feels like there's a message of some sort that you're trying to get across with like every one of your song. So it makes me wonder, especially with artists like yourself, is it, when you create music, is it a direct reflection as to where your life is in those moments?
You know what? I think it's creating moments for people to enjoy. Give You Love, I did know that I wanted it to be a quote unquote wedding song.
Okay. I mean, which it is, to be fair.
Well, yeah.
For everyone's wedding song.
And with Guan, I know that I wanted it to be something like a sexy, sensual type of record. And then with Blessed, I feel like it was me just flexing my muscles in terms of different sounds, because it's completely different to what I do. And I think it's just me expressing my love for music in general and being able to blend African elements, which is my roots, with different, genres. So it's kind of like a good mix that will be able to get records to kind of like crossover, because that's what's important for me.
Do you think that it's important for an artist to be vulnerable in their music? Because you said that it's not really like a direct reflection of yourself, so I just wonder.
You should be able to, be vulnerable at times. I feel like you should put yourself to the test. You shouldn't be afraid to not try new things. I think people like to stick to particular things, like a formula that people like. And they feel like if you shy away from that, people are going to be like, oh, what's this new thing that he's done, man? This is, do you know what I'm saying? So I guess it's important to continue to give the people what they want in different ways. But then at the same time, once you have everybody's attention, it's kind of like, yo guys, I'm giving you everything that you like, but have a listen to this. This is kind of like different.
So kind of like sucking them into something that has something to do with you and then giving them more.
Not even sucking in. I just feel like it's, if you and me like a particular type of music, I'm going to give it to you because I want you to be satisfied as a consumer. But now that I've given all of that to you, I'm going to be like, okay, I know you like the other stuff, but listen to this. This is something that I've been trying my hands on. And then I give it some sort of narrative, some sort of dialogue, explain to you what it means so that you kind of like understand where I'm going with it. And then, kind of like introduce you to something different that I'm working on. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like expansive. Just being able to expand as an artist, do different things so that you can fit in different worlds. You don't always want to be put in a certain box. That kind of makes sense.
I'm just thinking about your musical process, right? You said, I don't think you spoke directly like about yourself when talking about like your vulnerability like in your song. So in creating, your various music, I think we kind of touched on this before we even started recording, that you have like a love for array of sounds and you want that to be represented throughout your music. But when thinking about getting inspiration as to like what song you want to put out next, how much, like in all honesty, like how much of your life do you put into your music? How much of your sound, how much of your life or what's going on in your life is reflected in that?
I see what you mean. Well, I think I like to give songs concepts. And there's always a story behind it. So, for example, Soweto Blues. It's a song that I've done with an artist called Busiswa from South Africa and an R&B artist in the UK by the name of Jazz Karis, where I was merging UK house influences that I've grown up with, and then merging them with South African sounds that I've heard, throughout my journey or my career as a DJ. And also going to South Africa before the lockdown to kind of like experience it. So in the song, I'm just literally telling people, yo, I went to South Africa. I had the most amazing time. This is what I learned on my travels. Here's some of the elements that I've picked up. I want to merge it with, my stuff, and a collaborative effort between the South African and the UK artist, which is just good music. That's kind of like the story behind it, and that's literally what an experience is I've had. That was my experience in South Africa. The same with Blessed, with Mira May and Deneo, where I'm literally, really?
I love that song.
I've never heard that before.
What, that is that is someone's fave?
Yeah.
Me and Danette, like we were just saying earlier, that we like the intro to the actual song is the drums. It's like, oh, what is this? Because it's so different. Like I said, like same with similar to Skin Tight in a sense that it's got that Afro sound, but then it's also so much UK flair to it. So it's a big fave.
Yeah, I think with Bless as well, that song was created in a space where I was literally feeling I was in a good place at the time mentally when I was creating because, you know.
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I was saying about the chapter you are in your life,
Yeah.
the correlation between that and the music that you're creating. So you
Yeah.
said you're in a good place, which is why you were able to create a sound like
Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way with like some of your other songs, some of like your love songs, for example? Do you feel like for you to create a healthy love song, a song that, like you said, it needs to be like, you know, it's going to be a wedding song? Would you need to be in love for you to create that kind of sound?
Nah,
or do you think you can just like imagine that and make and, you know, create it?
Yeah, no, the love thing is not that serious.
Huh?
Yeah, it's not that serious. Like in life,
What?
you just have to. You have to. No, I'm joking.
What?
I'm joking. Love.
Yeah.
It's really easy to make a love song because I just feel like that's what people are, you know, trying to, you know, find these days.
Oh, right.
So I guess you're trying to create these moods and these moments, whether it's a moment for a lifetime or if it's a moment where you're in the club and you're just going to do your thing with whoever it is, and then, you know, the next day is whatever. It's literally just creating moments for people.
For people. Do you prioritize yourself in that? Do you prioritize that in your music to create something for people?
Yeah,
a certain sound for people?
Music. I believe music's an experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, you know, dropping a song is one thing, but you also need to give, you know,
people an experience.
And if it's a thing where you're just dropping a song for people to just have a feel of it, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I like to, everything that I drop, I like to at least give it some sort of dialogue.
Some sort of relatability.
Whether people like it or not. You know, you will have something to say about it, whether it's the sound or the visual aspect of things. So yeah, it's always good to create an experience for the song.
Yeah. I going back to Blessed again, I listen to, you know, a lot of your songs, and I hear, and I don't know, I've listened to a lot of producers, right? And I feel like with your sound and some of the stuff that you've put out there, there's a lot of artists that you've kind of put together, you know, like Miramay and Zaneo.
Yeah.
That I would have if you told me to wake up one morning and put two artists together, I would never have said those two. But you hear a song like Blessed and you hear a song featuring, you know, Nonzo, Mardi, and it's like it works so well together, which kind of has me thinking that for you to put these artists in certain songs and for it to work so well and for it not to sound off or weird in a way, you must be very intentional with choosing who you decide to work with. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I do feel like I could have the ability to be a very good A&R. And when I'm creating a lot of this music as well, it's not like I have a particular artist in mind, but if there's a certain message that I want to depict, then I'll literally kind of like start to think about who the best person would be. And of course there's trial and errors and stuff, or sometimes there's sessions where you literally create with the artist. But what I like to do is, you know, collaborate with, you know, people who have amazing talent, whether they've blown or not, but kind of like use my power to kind of like uplift
Them.
whatever that they're doing. I want to believe that I've tried that with Nonso and Mardi before.
Yeah, that was actually my first time hearing your song. Like, it was
and
with
then
you.
now he literally just elevated to this next person.
Is that important to you to work with underground artists? Because a lot of the artists you work with are underground.
It's not important, but I feel like I'm always open to doing that because you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think like where I'm at in my career right now, I could literally work with anybody that I really want to. And I think it's become a situation where now it's not just putting music out for putting out music's sake. It's more of just creating very good music for people to listen to.
So that's the priority, creating good music.
Yeah.
And right now you're working on your debut album, which is exciting.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Mate. One day I'll be like, yeah, this is going to be sick. And then the next time I'm just going to be like, oh man, I need to do this all over again. You have those self-doubt moments.
Of course. When did you start the process?
The beginning of lockdown, really.
Has lockdown affected or benefited?
It's affected in good and bad ways.
Okay, walk me through them.
I think good in terms of the fact that I've literally had to be in my studio,
Yeah.
literally creating, and I think a lot of the things that have happened over the last year or so has just boosted my profile to the point where I'm getting calls from people that I never expected.
Going from like being an artist and being in the music industry to now going back into a 9 to 5, does that thought scare you?
Could never happen.
Oh, okay. What gives you so much reassurance in that?
It's not even reassurance, it's long. What?
I
At the
feel
end?
you.
Nah, man, can't do that, man.
No, I feel you.
But to be fair, it has crossed my mind a couple of times. Or there have been moments where it's just so frustrating. I'm just like, man, bun this, man. I should just, go back to whatever. Then I think about it, I'm like, nah, man, I can't wait for no man or work for anybody who's just going to put me in that space anymore.
Yeah.
So you need to put yourself in a position where it's not even just about music anymore, but what else you can do within the ability. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's workshops, whether it's philanthropy, whether it's,
Is that something that you're trying to tap into as of right now?
I mean, I've been doing a lot of talks in universities. Like I was being invited, like I've spoken at Harvard, I've spoken at Columbia, I've spoken at LSE, literally talking about my trials and tribulations, challenges, African music, business, all of that stuff. So being able to do all of that and then speak to the kids and listen to them as well, that's something that I definitely want to, be involved in. Had a couple of workshops back in Ghana, teaching them about music, the business side of it, the creative side of it. Want to continue to do that and build something from it. And yeah.
Do you feel like it's important for you to, or what is the message that you feel like is important for you to get off or get across in your music?
Yeah, that people know where I'm from. I think literally the elements of my music, you're definitely going to hear certain things that will reflect my heritage.
Yeah.
Which is, proudly Ghanaian, proudly African as well. You hear elements of Jamaica and Nigeria in there because of my time spent in Jamaica, and also my godmother's Jamaican and my godfather's Nigerian as well. So, and then my mom's a big fan of reggae music, and I've been hearing reggae music since I was like 2, 3.
Yeah, I feel you.
So all of those elements resonate with me. My dad is a major jazz, fan. He probably has every single jazz album I can think of. So the mellow side of my music as well.
Comes from there.
It comes from there. On another, well, if we're looking at it from a different point, the music I'm trying to put out, a bit more energetic, a bit more fast paced, not too fast, still a vibe. A reason because, my siblings have told me that you need to like change, the style a bit more so that you can be a bit diverse. If you're to have a live show, you don't really want to be playing like mellow music throughout. You want to be able to play some stuff that people can, dance to. So that's stuff that I've been working on as well.
So that's what we should be expecting in the album.
Yeah, a mixture of that. Not too fast, but it will be a very, very good vibe, fun. Yeah, man.
I love that.
Hopefully people enjoy it.
Well,
sounds that I've never really messed with before, but it should be good.
I'm really excited for this album. I feel like it will be a album that really represents everything that you're trying to show to the world.
Yeah, disco's in there. There's reggae in there. There's rap.
Afrobeats
Afrobeats in there.
Yeah. So basically something for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. For all ages.
I love that.
Yeah, all ages.
I love that.
Old, young, little ones. It's a vibe, but it's coming out hopefully in the summer, so it's kind of like the perfect time for that to kind of like.
Yeah, I think after everything that's gone on in the world, I think it's like it'll be great to end off, well, what feels like going back to normality with like a Juls,
whatever that means,
vibey album.
Right now, it doesn't look like we're coming out anytime soon.
God willing we do. God willing we do. But no, I've thoroughly like proper enjoyed this conversation. I feel like I've gotten a proper understanding of you and like how your mind works.
Am I hard to read?
I wouldn't say hard to read. I wouldn't say hard to read. But I don't know. I just feel like I really understand that like for you, music isn't just create something and go back to my room and sleep. For you, music is like a compass of like who you are. Right. Is what I get from this conversation, and I hope that anyone else watching this is what they get too.
Yeah.
Would you say that's right to say?
I think a lot of people are trying to figure out, not that there's a mystery, but yeah.
Yeah, you are very mysterious though, but I think that's part of your brand, which there's nothing wrong with.
It's not part. Don't do that, man. It's not part of the brand. It's just naturally the person that that I am.
Mm-hmm. Which is part of your brand though, because the brand is who you are.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I'm an animated person, so I guess sometimes you need to show
that side of things.
That side of things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for having this conversation with me. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Boom.
Emmanuel's not clapping, so we are not stopping the clap.